Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And on today's episode, we are going to take a look at Kentucky's newest commit, Braydon Hawthorn. Braydon is a 4-star small forward. And initially, when I look at Braydon's game, I feel like he is what I would call not necessarily a project, but I do believe that it's going to take him a while before he could compete and contribute at a high level in the SEC, just because what we've seen the SEC transition into is a very physical league. There's a lot of teams with veteran players, and now with the transfer portal, it just kind of makes it hard for freshmen to really be able to come into these top tier schools and get a lot of playing time initially. I feel like the only way you're going to jump right into the SEC and play a lot initially, you're going to have to be very physical. You're going to have to be pretty much developed into a man's body right off the rip coming out of high school, like Jaden Quinton's, for example. With him being so young, he was able to play and be effective at Arizona State because of his size. Or you're going to have to be extremely skilled. I believe Jasper Johnson probably will be able to find some playing time, just because I believe he's skilled enough to be on the court. But even him, he's still going to have to get a lot stronger to make sure that he's able to go through the contact, to make sure that people can't push him off of his spots. But I feel like watching Braydon, he's like, I would say he has a lot of raw potential. And I think I think by the time he's physically developed enough to play high level minutes in the SEC, I believe even his skill will have improved. And I think he'll be a very good player. He looks like he's got some nice versatility to him, but we just got to wait and see, in my perspective, how he develops physically. But anyways, let's take a look at some of his highlights real quick and see what we think about him. And see, when you look at him, like, he's just, he's got some decent size. He's a long, athletic dude. He's got a decent handle. He can finish around the basket. He's good in transition, which, Kentucky played well in transition last year, whether it was guys cutting to the rim or guys shooting threes. And like I said, I think once he develops more, he will be effective in the SEC. But it's going to take him a while, because I think he's just going to be too small initially. If he was a little bit faster, a little bit better ball handler, he might could get away with some of it early as a freshman. But right now, I feel like he's got decent skill level, but just the size. He's going to have to get stronger. And I think once he does, I think he's going to be a solid player, man. Like I said, he's got decent handles. You see him right there shaking and baking his man with the nice up and under fake for the nice little floater. So it looks like he's got a pretty decent touch. And he looks like he's got some decent vision where he can make some passes off the dribble, find guys. Looks like he's got some good court vision and some good IQ. But he looks like the type of guy that's going to eventually be solid in Mark Pope's offense. He's going to run out in transition. He can score at the basket, and he looks like he has potential to become a good jump shooter. And right there, he's hungry on defense. He's trying to protect the rim. Like I said, I think the biggest thing that's going to hold him back initially is just his size. The SEC is just so physical now, man. It's a lot of older cats. We got guys that's petitioning to get 5th years. I think there's a guy in college that's playing his 7th year. So we got a lot of older guys. It's not a whole lot of kids playing in the SEC right now. It's a lot of adults. So I think it's going to be difficult unless you are one of those, those 4 or 5 freshmen that just, like if Cooper Flag and some of those type of guys, they might be able to come in and compete at a high level in Power 5 right off the bat. But most of these other guys are going to have to wait a little bit. They're going to have to get in the weight room, polish up their game. But like I said, I do think he has raw skill. I think overall he's going to be a very solid basketball player. He looks like he's got a lot to work with. Like I said, he looks like he could potentially be a nice versatile forward, a guy that can play out in transition. Looks like he's got a decent handle, can shoot a little bit. He's got some decent moves around the bucket, tries to, get after it on defense, shooting the passing lanes, blocking some shots. So overall, I definitely like this pickup for Kentucky. Braydon Hawthorn looks like he's going to be a nice little pickup in the future. But I do not think he's going to have much of an impact next season. Like I said, I think it may take him 2, maybe 3 years. But he acts like, from what I've seen, I think he made a comment where he said, he's going to try to go into practice with the mindset that he's going to earn some playing time this year. But he said if he doesn't, he's not going to get discouraged. He's just going to keep his head down. He's going to grind, and he's going to work his way into the starting position. And hopefully, he's going to maximize his potential at Kentucky. And, like I said, in a couple of years, I could see him being a nice key piece to us being successful. Next year, on paper, Kentucky is stacked. So I feel like it's going to be hard for a lot of guys to get a lot of playing time, unless there's just some cream that rises to the top and just plays way better than everybody else. But I feel like Mark Pope is going to struggle to get a whole lot of guys minutes this season. But, you never know what could happen. We could end up having injuries like we did this year. And that's why I think Pope's main thing is just making sure that he's shored up at every position, that he's got capable backups. And this is another guy that I think we can put our hope in to improve and to be able to help us in the future. But like I said, I just think with the transfer portal, it's just going to be tough now for a lot of these freshmen to find their way into the lineups at some of these bigger schools. The transfer portal has definitely hurt high school seniors coming into college, because it makes it a little dicey for them. Just like we had a Caden Lewis who was initially committed to Kentucky, and he backed out just because he probably felt like the minutes that he was looking for, it's going to be a little tough for him to get at Kentucky this season with all the guards that we have. So like I said, I don't think Braydon is going to be an initial or an immediate impact for us, but I do like the potential that he has. I like his game. He looks like a long, rangy type of guy, versatile. So I definitely like the tools that he has to work with. He's just, like he said, he's got to keep grinding, got to keep his head down, keep getting better, keep improving, and then just be ready when it's his time. But anyways, we'll wrap it up right there. You guys let me know what you think about Braydon Hawthorn. Do you like the pickup? And do you think that there's any way possible that he's going to be able to give us some impact, some production this season? Or do you think he's going to be, a guy that we look at 2 to 3 years from now to be leading the way with some other guys? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. We'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.